What is going on, everybody? After a very long hiatus, it's time to come back. Welcome to Hitman Blood Money, my favorite of the series, and, well, basically everyone's favorite of the series. Been waiting a long time to do this one, but I just wanted to get everything to the best it could be. When I originally made my videos way back in like 2019, I didn't have a proper gaming PC at the time. I just played old games off of my laptop, which could handle them, but it wasn't a gaming rig whatsoever. But now I've got a top grade gaming PC. I've even upgraded it since getting it, and now I'm ready to go. I'm ready to make some more videos, and the quality will be better than ever. So for Hitman Blood Money, I'm going to do things a little differently. Occasionally I would do alternate strategies to the other games. Contracts in particular, I did a lot of alternate strategies for. But for Blood Money, my goal is to have at least one alternate strategy for every single level, with the sole exception of the training level and the very last bonus level, since there's really nothing different I could do to those. So I'm going to have two separate profiles for main strategies and alternates. So main profile is Ghostly Gamer Main. The other one will be Ghostly Gamer Alternate. So let's get the game started. Obviously we're gonna play on Pro, where we're not allowed to save. The notoriety is a little bit stricter than normal, and the AI is very sensitive.
Just in. Unconfirmed reports of an accident at Southland Park.
I can't find my boy!
Hundreds of family members gathered outside the deserted park today to commemorate the second anniversary of the Southland Park tragedy.
Pending a full investigation of the park's safety
Authorities report at least 30 deaths and close to 100
5
injuries.
years since the tragedy closed the gates of Southland Park, but new evidence
Is claiming malicious prosecution and believes he'll be vindicated every penny of his fortune defending himself from these lawsuits.
Defending Southland Park owner Joe.
There were people flying everywhere. Body parts.
And the victims' families have vowed to appeal the decision.
Not guilty.
Cleared of all charges.
Come, have a cup of tea, hon. Sitting in the dark won't bring him back, sweetheart.
I would like to place an order.
So here is the training level, Death of a Showman. I'm personally not a big fan of this training level. It teaches you some basics you need to know, but it doesn't really explain how to utilize them to the best of your ability for Silent Assassin and stuff like that.
This training level will introduce to you the various skills and techniques required to effectively undertake the missions ahead.
I really wish this training level explained notoriety, because there's really nowhere in the game where that system is very well explained. It's not I mean, honestly, that system is a little bit of a dud because it didn't really play a big part in the game as much as they probably thought it did. But obviously these walkthroughs are going to show you how to avoid notoriety at all costs, since it's required for Silent Assassin. But for this level, all I can really tell you is to just follow the guide, is to just follow the headlines at the top of the screen.
Welcome to the States, 47. This should be a straightforward operation. We need you to penetrate an abandoned amusement park, locate the owner, and take him out. The target is a Joseph Clarence, also known as Swing King. An accident involving one of the rides at the park a few years back forced him to close it down. Our client has made a special request that the photograph you have in your possession be the last thing the target sees. Mr. Clarence has somehow become involved with a narcotics distribution ring, so the park may still have some amusements. Enjoy the ride, 47.
Before I forget, I want to turn the subtitles on. Just because I like having them. So yeah, just follow the guide.
What the fuck you looking at, Kraken?
I'm here to see Joseph Clarence.
Never heard of him.
Mr. Swing King?
Oh, that sorry-ass dickhead. What the fuck they call you?
Names of our friends, so I don't need one.
Okay, so since I don't have a lot to talk about, I guess I'll go ahead and describe how notoriety works, since it was one of the newer features added to the game. Basically, it's possible to leave evidence behind in these levels, whether you get caught on camera or someone witnesses you doing something stupid. The evidence will add up, and it'll raise a meter that goes from 0 to 100. The higher it is, the more likely people will notice you in future levels, to the point where they can auto-detect you at random. It sounds like a good system, and I think it's a great idea for a Hitman game. The problem with it is that it's not very well utilized, because there's one problem that hurts it. And that problem is that after every level, you can use in-game money to purchase bribes that just wipe notoriety away. And the amount of money you get per level makes it really easy to just purchase a bribe to clear notoriety. So that's the problem with the system. It's a good idea, but they make it way too easy to bypass, basically. Other than that, Blood Money's a fantastic game, and was easily the best out of the pre-Absolution games. And will always be my personal favorite, deep down. So we're not gonna get Silent Assassin on this level. I've seen people do it, but it is way too difficult, and it's just not meant to be possible. So I'm not gonna try to torture myself by getting it. Because I know it's possible, I'm just god-awful at it, because it's so tricky. So we'll just hide the bodies in the containers, which is another new feature added from the predecessors.
What in the name of God is going on in here?
So now, time for the classic iconic feature of Hitman, stealing disguises. Throwing objects. Clunky as it is, this is the first game to introduce it. They've definitely improved on it since, though, because in this game it does feel pretty clunky in comparison to how awesome it is to throw objects in the newer games. Okay. So we're gonna smuggle our gun in this crate so that he doesn't see it.
Gotta check you, white bread.
When he frisks us.
Alright, you cool.
I'm surprised that that metal detector didn't notice it anyway, but oh well.
I can get the money, sweetie. It's as good as mine already. Mr. Spook's got it. We'll open the park. It'll be like old times. No, just a few more days. You gotta believe me. Don't say that, sunshine. Mr. Spook's gonna come true, baby. He's good for the money. I won't sign the papers. I won't. You gotta give me one more chance. You gotta. Baby cakes? Sunshine? Hello?
Alrighty. Here's something else new. With the fiber wire, you can strangle people up into elevator shafts. Which is definitely useful, but we're not gonna do it a lot though. Kill power. We'll sneak through here. Sneak through here to get to the next part. So the next thing we're gonna do is using a human shield, another new feature added to Blood Money, and a very useful one since, well, it's useful for combat, but to a lesser extent, it's useful for stealth too. The reason it's useful for stealth is because when you grab someone, you can knock them out. So, if you run out of sedative syringes, you can just have a gun and knock people out. Like so. That's very useful for certain levels where you gotta knock out a bunch of people.
It's been a while now, Scoop, and I was just wondering where we were on the whole money thing.
Were you?
Yeah, see, the thing is, if you remember, you know, what we agreed to was it'd just be a short while and you'd pay in cash, and I know what the pressures you are under must be, but the deal is a deal, and I was hoping, you know, maybe you could just pay what we agreed on, even though you've been here for, heck, more than twice as long as we agreed to, but just pay the original amount and move on. Not right away necessarily, but, you know, I'd appreciate it.
No.
Alright, back on track. Sniper rifles were changed a little bit. It's now possible to fire them from the hip without aiming down the scope. But obviously it's much more useful to use the scope. Climbing. There are much more you can scale a lot more things in this game than you could before. That's another new thing. And there's now 2 types of syringes. Sedative and, right here, poison. So syringes can now be lethal or non-lethal. They also pull double duty since you can use them to either incapacitate, kill, either directly from behind through the neck, or you can use them to poison food or drinks.
That's Uncle Joe. Better get back to your
accident kills. This is a big one. If you can make a kill... Well, that didn't go as planned, but...
Oh God! Oh God!
What was... I think it's because I dropped the gun while I pushed him, but what was supposed to happen was... I was going to show you how to use syringes to poison food or drinks. You just do that, and then you wait for them to consume. We're not going to do that a shit ton, but it's definitely useful in certain situations.
Who the hell are you? How'd you get in here? Carol Ann!
My client has hired me to show you this photograph.
I don't understand.
My client has asked me to ensure it's the last thing you ever see. Please, look at the photograph, Mr. Clarence.
No. Please.
Right.
Haven't I suffered enough? Don't you... Oh.
Home run. Ha ha ha. Anyways. So for this last part, having the sniper with you is pretty useful. So I would suggest keeping it. Last new feature that I can think of, that at least the one that this tutorial shows off, is the mines, which are very useful for creating another type of accident kill. Certain structures hanging from a ceiling, if you put a bomb on the support and then detonate, it'll crush anyone below. Just like that. And it counts as an accident. And one thing nice about accidents is that if the kill is an accident, then it will not the NPCs will not register it as a kill, and if the body is found, they don't know that it was a deliberate murder. Because that's another thing new added to Blood Money, is that if you kill someone in a more traditional sense, like shoot them or strangle them, if the body is found, they know it's a they know they were murdered. But if it was an accident, they don't. So if a body is found from a normal kill, you will lose Silent Assassin. If it was from an accident, though, it won't affect anything. Obviously, we didn't get Silent Assassin, but this mission is technically unranked since there's no proper scoreboard afterward, but there's still a newspaper which tells you what rating you would have gotten. But every level has a newspaper, just to sort of, I guess, to give you some cool articles to read, to sort of build on the world, I guess. And then you can read the main article to give an impression of how the world perceives you. If your notoriety ever goes up, there's going to be a police sketch on the front page, and it becomes more accurate as it goes up. Obviously, that's not going to happen, since we will never ever raise our notoriety whatsoever in order to get Silent Assassin. Alright, so that takes care of the training level. I'm not going to do it again for a alternate strategy because there's really nothing more I can add to it. I will show off the hideout, though. This is just a cool place where you can do target practice and you can check out all the weapons you've collected throughout the course of the game. The weapons that the agency supplies for you, you already have. These are also the only weapons in the game that you can upgrade with new upgrades, like silencers and stuff. Something we will be doing with some of them. We will never use that M4 or that Spaz 12, but the pistol and the sniper will definitely get some use. And if you collect any normal guns throughout the game, like the revolvers or the SMGs or any of the other sniper rifles, they will end up here afterwards. So when we return, the real work begins. But that won't happen until next time. See you then.